Yeah, the best part of this is that a friend of ours, Brian Stoltz, over at the Auburn Rivals site, it's almost like he just sort of manifested this yesterday while we were talking to players. I mean, it wouldn't have come up unless he asked about it. And then all of a sudden we start getting this insight that, they've been talking about it. They mentioned it a couple times last year. They've already mentioned it to coaches this year. Owen Pappo says they've got a surprise planned for them at some point. So shout out to Brian for unknowingly bringing this to everybody's attention. From what I hear, it's on the table. And that's, something we saw with Brian Harsin last year. He wasn't afraid to, it's not going away from traditionalism at all because Auburn has worn the orange face mask in the past. Certainly the white face masks haven't been worn before, but at the same time, it's, it wasn't overbearing. It wasn't something super shocking on the uniform. From when I talked to Dana Marquez, the Auburn equipment manager, last season when I talked to him for a story about the white face masks, he said, look, when Harsin came in, he told us, I'm cool with whatever the players like as long as it's in our palette and as long as it looks like something Auburn would do, if that makes any sense. As long as it's something that, is within the tradition, is not something super outlandish. Certainly, I don't think there's a reality in which they'd ever do black jerseys or anything like that. But shoot, I mean, they wore orange jerseys about 40 years ago. Now, that was during an era of Auburn football that a lot of people would like to forget. It was a pretty unsuccessful 5 seasons there for Doug Barfield. But at the end of the day, it's something the players want to see. I wouldn't bet on seeing it this weekend because that's a little different than face masks. As I understand from talking to Dana, they just sort of send those in to get dipped, and then they got them back like a week later. Jerseys are probably a little bit more difficult, but hey, maybe they've had this plan for a long time. So we don't know for sure, but it definitely seems like something that could be on the table.